Hello viewers, welcome to Express Politics on TVRC. I am Adeguyega Adeshino. With me today is our lead analyst on TVRC, Mr. Akintunde Somin Vincent. Mr. Akintunde, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Today we'll be looking at the legacy of colonization on African states. If you look at it so deep, you will see that African states are changed completely from what we used to be. There have been changes all around. And when you look at the word legacy, legacy has to do with inheritance, something you inherit from the past. Now, today, Mr. Akintunde, I want us to really check the pros and the cons of colonization on African states. In the past, we have our own ways of life. In the past, we have our own culture, our ways of dressing. We have our education. In the past, we have our economy. Today, what are the things you see as the legacy of the Western world on African states, and what are the pros and cons? What injury have they actually brought to us?
It's actually so nice to be here today. This question is, this discussion is a kind of never unending discussion. It is always in the continuum, because right from very time immemorial, we've seen the influx of the Western society, the Western world, to our own society. We've seen how they infiltrate. Some will say, okay, they are on a kind of expatriate journey, but I call it infiltration, because we don't actually, we did not call for them in the first place. We were infiltrated by the Western world. And I don't know if I want to say they left us in a good condition, but I know the further discussion with my further, I would definitely want to put a kind of check and balance into the nitty-gritty of what they've done to our society. But let me commence from this pedestal that the Western world, Europeans, when African was actually we were infiltrated, so many things were they created a whole lot of distortion to our nomenclature. Our names were changed. Religion changed. In short, our way of life totally, in a very much, they created a very terrible distortion to our identity. So, some will say what we become today is as a result of what they've done to us. But generally, back to your question, if I could get you correctly, you're talking about the pros and the cons. But the pros, the merit is that some will say so far so good today. We have so many Nigerians who have the capacity and capability to speak grammar, to speak English. But I will tell you that we have countries that are not speaking English, and they are better off without speaking. English is the language of the English people from England, from Great Britain, the British Empire, colony. So we have people from China who speaks Chinese language. We have people from, but we are looking at the colonization. We're looking at the legacy of colonization. I wouldn't want to say that the legacy actually left us in a good state, like I said in time. At the beginning of my paraphrase, that I wouldn't say we're actually better off, because capacity to speak grammar is not the yardstick to measure development. Mm-hmm. Or capacity to put on the English wares, they are not the yardsticks to measure national development. So, like I said, they came into African society, to African states. Our religion was, church changed. We had a kind of a substitution. We substituted our own religion for their religion. We started our way of life for their way of life. And that's why I could, even you as a presenter, a man from Africa, and myself as even a guest, or let me put as an analyst to dissect the issues. Because we are putting on suit. Is this our way of dressing right from the time in retrospect? But today we are all putting on suit, and instead of maybe most likely putting on Ankara, Kampala, Adire. Don't forget that this suit, so many of these suit materials back in time were used by those in England and in Britain and what have you. But today it has become our way of life, and it has become part of us. From very beginning in 1914, before the amalgamation, we do have the northern and southern protectorate. But after that, where we have the influx of different types of governor general, right from Lord Lugard down to very much 1960, where we're given our independence, it was given to us on a platter, like a piece of cake, because independence ought to be fought for. But I don't think we really engage in a kind of on occasion to take our independence, by at all costs. But it was just given to us like that, which is good. But the point still remains that right from the period of the Governor General, Lord Lugard, down to 1960, we've seen the influx of different kind of Governor General who were British, who were from England, and they've been able to so many issues surrounding that part. During that particular period, where most of our artifacts were stolen, were taken. Very much. Let me cite a very good example. Is that of our artifact from Benin Empire, from Benin, artifact from Ile-Ife. And in short, it's even Benin that is actually just making a kind of agitation to get to their canvassing to get back all these artifacts. But even that of Ile-Ife, we had little or nothing surrounding that of, even from Oyo laughing, from Oyo. So many artifacts were carried away by this British up till date. Either terracotta, either ceramics. Up to date, so many of all these artifacts, masterpiece, they are still very much domiciled in the British Museum. And again, if you look at our political way of life, we have different kind of, for example, those in the northern hemisphere. Don't forget that even the Sultan of Sokoto Caliphate still transcends to some other areas, some other western part of Africa, like Mali, like even this current. You could see what happened in Nigeria recently, where our the northern oligarchs, the northern religious leaders, had to intervene, because the Sultan of Sokoto, the Caliphate, transcends some parts of West Africa, like Mali and what have you, from Sokoto down to all those western part of Africa. The Sultan of Sokoto still has a kind of very much a power to. And outside, I've talked about mode of dressing. I've talked about politics, even our religion. Let me go back to religion again. You could see how what's it called? Those who were traditional worshippers were substituting all this religion for the Western religion. So thereby taking our identity completely away and giving us their own way of life. And funny enough, it's not even the original way of life, a kind of a caricature way of life. We're presented with a counterfeit, and we embrace the counterfeit all clean and sinker. Because the way we practice democracy here, is it the same democracy is being practiced in England? Look at the number of corruption cases. Look at even a whole sitting prime minister in England, still face corruption charges. I remember during that of Boris Johnson, because he had a kind of a party, a kind of mini party. You see the parliament. He faced the parliament where he tries to do all manner to defend himself. But what happened in the long run? But here in Africa, we have so many head of state, so many presidents who have really, most of them have looted this country to the pin. What has become of them? Some of them are in their various houses. So even the democracy that we're told that were given to us by the Western world, were we given the right democracy? Are we even supposed to even practice democracy in the first place? Somebody will talk about political correctness. That is what is obtainable everywhere in the world. Like seriously? Haven't you? The second leading economy in the world is China. Go and look at what they practice in China. I wouldn't want to say they also have a kind of 100% perfect society. No, but look at now they are leading it. What I will tell me what exactly here we cannot even boast of stable electricity. Not even a 24-hour stable electricity in this country. 24 hours. So what I was saying, what were we given? So it's a kind of, like I said, it's a kind of a discussion never to finish. It's an open-ended. It's a continuum. And that was what, up to now, we are still trying to get our identity back. You could see what is actually happening recently. Right from very time, look, there's a man called Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso. He made a whole lot of allusion. He did everything to make sure that he has a kind of a stable environment in it. What happened to him? He was killed. So many people really stood up to those colonial masters who was, no, we are going to do our things the African way. What happened to so many of them? I can sit here to mention so many of them. We have a man from this Patrice Emily Lumumba was also killed. Thomas Sankara killed. Even from among ourselves here, when the lives of Ken Saro-Wiwa, it was making a kind of this thing that I want my people to, what become of, even among colonial mentality among ourselves. Is it not still happening?
Right.
Where we have some people,
Libya too.
Where some people are still saying that one religion is not allowed. It's still happening in the Ilorin or Kwara State, where some are saying no, we want to practice a whole this Islam whatsoever, and so some other religion. I keep. What kind of mentality is all this?
Now, there's something I want to draw your attention to. From a lot of things that you have said now, I want to pick out that you are saying it straight that we actually brought up or colonized under deception and coercion.
Yes, that's it.
Forcefully.
That's the way it is.
Now, this is it. When you married a woman under coercion, under deception, and this woman wake up one day and say, my eyes are now open. Now, don't you think it will be foolish of that same woman to remain in that house, not to take the steps that she is supposed to take? On the part of Africans now, are you still putting that blame of that awareness that we have gotten in the past on the colonial masters? Are you still saying that the culture that they have stolen from us, and we are all aware now that we are living on borrowed culture, the awareness now is to be taken up by who? By the Western world?
Don't forget
so what is happening?
Don't forget that wisdom is in levels.
Okay.
Wisdom is in levels. You will not want to compare the way a man would think to the way a baboon would think.
I don't get that.
The way a man, don't forget that we belong to the same family. We are primates.
Okay.
I mean, biological wise.
Yeah.
Primate.
Yeah.
So don't forget the way a man would think could be quite different from the way a baboon would think.
Right.
Or sorry, let me withdraw that. That will not really, falling into my analysis.
Okay.
Let me put it this way. There's what we call superior complex. There's what we call the inferior complex. Up to now, some people still believe that they are better than the other. Some people believe that they've been able to master the game over time. It's just a kind of something that looks like an allegory. I mean, talking about monk, baboon, and human this thing. But let me just say the way it is. Now, don't forget recently, even until now, that the Francophone countries, they still have a certain amount of money that they have to remit to the treasury of France year in, year out. At the point in time, if not for the intervention of some elite, I wouldn't call them elite, but these are, some rugged elite or some rugged young guys. There's a kind of setup that would have availed the British or the English to make sure to mount their cubicle more or less something different from embassy in all the regions where they colonized. It took the effort of some giants to say no. If embassy is not enough, then you cannot keep having outpost or man post or whatever in our nations. So the point is, under the disguise of so many things like climate change, Paris this, United Nations Assembly, this shattered, that shattered, okay, Africa for Africa, or European Africa, or so many. See, and funny enough, I don't know if how they managed to close the eyes of, to even see their own God-given treasures, God-given reserves,
heritage.
Because our leaders, they fail to understand that stewardship is the way to go. What is stewardship? Good stewardship. But over time, what we've seen is so many of our leaders coming together to amass wealth for themselves. They want to use, when you could too happen in the Arab Emirates, in the ancient, among the ancient tigers. We were colonized at the same time with some of the ancient tigers. But look at us become of them. They are better off today. Like Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia. They can stand on their, in short, we call them the ancient tigers. Look at a desert, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. It has become the destination of everyone in the world today.
What is really the problem of Africans?
The point now is, the point is the interest of the Western world. Now we have so many. We have. I wrote, was it a few days ago? In short, I wrote this morning, part of my reflection, that if President Tinubu is not careful, traps are being put in place for him. Just the way it happens to President Jonathan. Don't forget, we don't create guns. In short, we don't even have factory that could even create some sophisticated technology talk of creating ammunitions. Who are those supplying ammunitions to the terrorists? We are the terror. We are all these things. Where are they coming from? So the point is, when all those ammunitions are, when they find their way into Africa, then we use that same ammunitions to distort our own stability. And when the continent is not stable, what becomes of us? Is it not when you have peace, when you are able to sit down to relax? That's when you know if somebody has taken something from your pocket, from your purse, or from your pocket. When you are still looking at where you want to run from, where you want to hide yourself, you want to look at where you want to, or you are addressing issues that ordinarily you should not be addressing. You wouldn't want to mind whether somebody have taken a very private jet to take away our minerals.
What is the way out?
The way out. Sorry, before I even talk about the solution. Do you love Africa? Do you love Africa? If we are told to be, maybe we are divided into 2 or 3 or 4 blocks. Because if you look at the whole of America, compared to, in short, California is more than 3, Nigeria and some other nations, California alone. US is very big and they were able to manage, but here we're being, put into small enclave, and we want everyone wants to become the Lord of the Ring in all those enclave, and and there are some Western influence and everything, intricacies here and there, and we are not stable today. So you talked about the way out. If only we could see ourselves as one. If we speak the same language, myself and you, myself and yourself, we speak the same language, and somebody speaks something different. So before the person will come in between us will take a very long time. Before anybody will get in between us, will take a long. For crying out loud, we have ECOWAS, the economic community of West African states, ECOWAS. We have the southern blocks, people in the southern Africa. We have the eastern blocks. In short, funny enough, we have, even in the northern part of Africa, we have a whole lot of resemblance. Like when you Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Egypt. These are Africans and they're happy to be Africans. I mean, I heard what this man said. The coach of Morocco, during that, they were so proud to be Africans. So the point is, if only we could see ourselves from that perspective, and all of us could adopt one national language that suits us better. Like if not Swahili, if not either they have to look at one. So if we're able to do that, I tell you most solemnly, we're able to understand ourselves better, and our development becomes very fast and at exponential rate. And again, World Trade Union, we have to work together. We have to open our market to ourselves. Why this closed border? Africa closing borders with the African country? I mean, if you can move from California to Indianapolis, from Indianapolis to Kentucky, from Kentucky to Connecticut, from Connecticut to, in short, they move like that. This is a very big country, to Chicago, to whatever. But here in Africa, you've got to go to Idiroko there, you see how what was happening. From you cannot before traveling to Zimbabwe. In short, a Nigerian was deported from Zimbabwe recently. One of our journalists deported from Zimbabwe. Before you want to travel to Cameroon, you have to be looking for visa. I mean, how are we going to build Africa together? These are black too, black man, black woman. Look at what the role Nigeria played during the apartheid regime. That alone did not even sink into the ears of the South Africans. What is wrong with us if South Africans move to Nigeria, if Cameroons move to move to Gabon, are we not the same brothers? So if that is not put in place, our development will just be crawling. And again, we also have to know that technology is the future of the world. Enough of eating cassava and I mean eating eating an okra, putting it in your living room and you are eating and you think your belly is filled up and I think that's all you know. No! People have to be on their toes. Work tirelessly. Look at what we can do to better the African society. You know, we have community relation, we have exchange here and there before. And again, we have to know that servanthood, good servanthood, this account of good stewardship is also one of the vital way to go. Enough of me working because I want to go into politics because of my body, because of my family, because of myself. No, you are there. Let some of our leaders be at the fore. I never stop making reference to Mahatma Gandhi of India. I never stop making reference to Nelson Mandela of South Africa, Obafemi Awolowo of Nigeria, Thomas Sankara of Burkina Faso, Patrice Emery Lumumbu of Congo, Banda in so many of them in Zambia, in Malawi, and this man from Ghana, Nyerere of Tanzania, and Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana. All these people, we have them there for us to watch, for us to emulate. What has become of us today? Many people are running into power. They will go and take loan from World Bank to come and run politics. Who does that? So that's the way to go. If only we could sit down, be patriotic enough, look at our people, and we have the heart to say what am I going to live, or what am I going to be remembered for? I don't think if we are not thinking in that perspective, I don't think we are ready for national development.
We have seen a lot of countries in Africa facing so many troubles because of the Western and influence, and also because of what they have inherited from their colonial masters. Let me put it that way. Now, giving us this way out do you believe that the influence of colonial masters all over Africa can completely be kicked out?
Yes, I believe, and it's actually happening. You see, was it purely yesterday? The people of Niger, they did a kind of a protest to the embassy, French ambassador. They don't want the French ambassador anymore. In Mali, it happens the same thing. In short, there was a time I traveled to one of the Francophone countries. Up to date, all this they are still spending the French currency. It is called the CFA. CFA. So the point is, we have to know that the African states belong to the African people first. I'm not saying people should not come around should not come. No, I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. We need to understand the fact that this place belongs to us first.
Do we stand to
and we have to rule our people the way we think it is best for our people, not what is best for what is best for people from other continents. No, that's not acceptable. What we think is best for us, we have to sit down and that's why we need our elders, and we also need intellectually mobile youth. Those who are intellectually sagacious, who have the capacity to reason, to think outside the perimeter, to say this is the way we should go, and not just the way we should go, a tested and a trusted way to go, a confirmed way to go. Not if we do that. Not until we do that, I don't think we'll be ready to.
And let me ask you this question, and let me take it as the last question. Do we stand to lose out? What are the things we stand to lose if we decide to kick out completely?
We lose nothing.
The influence of.
We lose nothing. That's why people keep saying that President Tinubu should be careful. It's not all about exerting the power of Nigeria all over Africa. No. Honestly, there's what we call the power of negotiation. Okay, it is always, according to Henry Kissinger, said there's no permanent friend, no permanent enemy. What we have is permanent interest. It's interest. And the interest must be put on the table. If you are going to be a beneficiary of what we have, are you willing to pay? In short, when we were told, during the Ukrainian-Russia crisis, we were told that the Russians, those who want to get their oil from Russia, you will pay in Russian currency. That's interest. If we have the resources that you need, then you pay in naira. You pay in cedi, in Ghanaian cedi.
Because it's ours.
Yes, you also pay in
the means of
you pay in South African rand. So that's how we can also strengthen our own naira. Look at everybody is talking about dollar today. It's because over time they've mastered how to strengthen their dollar. And dollar is one of the powerful currencies in the world.
So we stand to
lose nothing. In short, if the more we are able to get ourselves together, the better for African people. But the more we have saboteurs, we have people who are not really into the. We have people on patriotic elements among us. People who are willing to sell us out to the people, to sell us out here, and the people who are just there to try to drag the car backward. The more the Westerners infiltrate us, and the more trouble will be. The country, the continent will be.
Viewers at home, it's been a loving and very interesting section on Express Politics today. Let all African states go back to the drawing board. Let's check our tradition. Let's check our religion. Let's check our ways of life, and let's see how we can work together as one and probably put the strangers in their place. And doing all this will bring us to a point where we can stand on our own and have peace that we create by ourselves. It's going to be nice to have you again on this program next time. Hope you really enjoyed us. Thank you and see you again next time. Bye.